I don't have any tooth. I'll admit it. I will brag. Those players did not just go and whip that ass for us to be like, oh, good game. No, we whipped your ass. We took $800,000. Now we're partying with it.
Yeah, who cares if you're in the Power 5 conference if you don't win it, ever? Or you don't beat any of the teams in it? Like, what's the point of that? Wouldn't you rather win the conference and say, like, hey, my team is good, than lose the conference and say, well, our conference is good?
Well, I'll tell you what, I got two teams that got me gassed up. It's going to be a hell of a battle. Be like two dogs fighting over a milk bun.
Look, they don't call me Tip for nothing. And my tip is, look out for the group of 5 this season. They've been taking it to the Power 5 year after year.
The only quarterbacks that ever get any love are from the Power 5. I could easily list off the top group of 5 quarterbacks I would rather have than those guys. I would be willing to bet that at least one of them is going to be in the running for the Heisman this year.
Welcome back, everyone. Group of 5 guys. Your host, Matt Sprouse here. 2 weeks in a row, we're coming at you. We've got an awesome show. I know I say this every week, but we have a damn celebrity joining the group of 5 guys this evening. We'll go around the horn first, introduce you to the boys. We are missing Zeke Anderson as he is traveling at the moment, and we don't want him getting in a car accident. Zeke, we love you. We miss you. We'll see you next time. We'll go around the horn here. Jesse Grisham, as always, it's a pleasure. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, fellas. I got to tell y'all, I experienced something this past weekend. I now have a hobby, and I am back to being active besides just riding a Peloton. I am now part of a pickleball organization. Pickleball. I played pickleball for 5 hours last Friday. Brought a cooler full of beer, played 2-on-2 pickleball with like 12 other gentlemen, a couple ladies. The neighborhood's getting into it. We're going to make pickleball courts into our neighborhood. Y'all, pickleball is the new thing. It's better than tennis. It's better than ping pong. It's better than eating a country kitchen buffet. Dude, pickleball is the thing to do. If you haven't heard about it, Google it. I'm actually probably going to be on a pickleball card here pretty soon because I ain't bad. Now, the funny thing is, after I played Friday, Saturday night into Sunday morning, boys, it's embarrassing. You would think I just got done playing freaking Alabama Crimson Tide for 4 quarters. My abs were sore. My right ass cheek was sore. My left ankle, I about tore my ACL twice. But, y'all, pickleball is some fun stuff. So that's how my weekend was. I'm still fired up about it. Can't wait to play next weekend.
You know, that is real. It's definitely a new fad because I'm seeing them damn courts. I mean, you go to like the park now, they got 20 pickleball courts and only like 2 tennis courts and one basketball court. Now you go to like a city park or something, so you're not lying about that. Your HOA is
really is fun
a little bit though.
What'd you say?
I said that HOA is about to go up a little bit. They pop one up in the neighborhood. Somebody's got to maintain the thing. Yeah.
I'll maintain it. I love it. And I ain't that bad, boys. I ain't that bad. Whip y'all's ass.
I hope so, man. Jeff Murphy, as always, on the audio video. How we doing, sir?
Doing great. I can't say that I played pickleball this weekend, but you know it's never a good thing when your comment is, I'm not that bad, when it probably should be, I'm really good at pickleball. So, you know, confidence is always an important thing, Grish, when you're talking about sports. But big news, boys and girls. The hotline is up and running.
Hey,
Group of 5 guys hotline. We want to hear from you, our fans, our listeners. Call us and leave us a message. Leave us a voicemail. We'll play it on our next show. The number here, 615-900-4286. Call us, leave us a voicemail. If it's a question, if it's a hot take, whatever you got, we want to hear it, and we will play it, shout you out on our show, and we'll talk about it, whatever you got. So that number again, Group of 5 Guys hotline, 615-900-4286. Give us a call.
I would love to hear everybody's atrocious stories from the weekend. If y'all call that line,
that'd be
give
great.
us something that happened that was atrocious and see if it compares to what old Swag Bear went through that week.
Every time you have that anxiety of a Sunday scary, just call the hotline.
Just call the line.
And
You need somebody to
let us
talk
know.
to?
We can hear you. We will talk you. I may answer the damn phone. I don't know. Just let us hear about it. We'll get through this. We'll get to that work Monday, and it'll all sweat out like every other Monday.
Oh, man. Tyler Tipton, it is a fantastic evening. Good to see you, sir.
Great to see you too, Sprouse. Great to see you, boys. But on the day that this episode is going to be released, we're going to be 178 days away from college football opening weekend. Okay, yeah, that is a long ways away. So if y'all are missing football like the five of us are, check out our content check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, now TikTok, and don't forget to call that hotline that Murph just mentioned. But Sprouse had to. I noticed when we got on here, you got the Miami Marlins throwback hat on. What's that about?
Well, Florida Marlins is back when we were a decent organization before Derek Jeter sabotaged the entire city of Miami.
I think he did it on purpose.
Dude, Derek Jeter, this guy's been a scumbag. I called it 5 years ago when he arrived in Miami. First of all, the guy comes. All he does is he takes all the decent players, Giancarlo Stanton, Christian Yelich, JT Realmuto, I don't know how to say it, Ozuna, gets rid of anybody that's making more than $10 an hour, okay? Ships them off to his own Yankees. That's the whole plan, right? Ships them off to the Yankees. There's corruption, there's collusion, all the above. And then, hey, now they got a little lockout going, and Jeter, he's running off into the woods. He's running away from his problems. The guy's been overrated since 92. All of his best plays, him and Michael Jordan both, all of their most famous plays are the most overrated plays in history. And I'm going to walk you through them, okay? The little backhand, little jump throw to first. Any shortstop in a 13 and up travel ball league makes that throw. The little play, okay, Michael Jordan, dunking from the free throw line. 75% of the NBA dunks from the free throw line in games now. Relax. It's not that big a deal. Derek Jeter, he does the little cutoff play against Murph's Oakland A's.
Don't get me started.
The throw was on the line. All he had to do was let it go.
Jeremy Giambi was still safe. I'm still calling it to this day.
Well, maybe, yeah. But Jeter has to make it all about himself to get the spotlight. He does a little flip, and everybody worships him for a few days. Michael Jordan, it's the same thing. He goes and he does the little in the middle of the air, changes hands, does a layup. There's nobody even defending the rim, Michael. What are you doing? And then the worst one of them all, Derek Jeter, the play where he dives into the crowd. The guy makes the catch like it's almost a damn fair ball. He makes the catch 2 steps in foul territory, then takes a running head start like he's in the damn Olympic triple jump, dives into the crowd, and comes out as if he had to do it. I mean, it is, guys, and it's unbelievable. And the guy's been sabotaging Marlins, 2-time World Series champs, by the way, 97-03. Shout out to both of those guys. Dontrell Willis and Miguel Cabrera were 16 years old, winning World Series games against Derek Jeter's Yankees. So that's what it comes down to. He's upset that the 03 Marlins beat him in 6 games, led by Juan Pierre and Dontrell Willis, and then he sabotaged him and left.
I take a little bit of offense to that because that Derek Jeter play where he landed in the stands and caught that fly ball, I literally purposely would try to run to the fence and catch a fly ball, just try to mimic that just a little bit. I thought that was a hell of a play.
I cannot. I'm with you, Sprouse. I can't stand Jeter. So good riddance, honestly.
Somehow that guy got a media pass his whole career, like he was just some upstanding, American citizen. What a guy. The guy.
Wasn't he technically the best shortstop to ever play the game?
Oh, yeah, because of those 3 plays that he made that every decent shortstop in Major League history can make.
For all you know,
A-Rod was way better than he was.
I had to leave Florida.
Family problems and leave. Come on. No, he's had family problems his whole career, and he somehow got a pass for being a cheater and a womanizer. That guy, I'm telling you, he is a scumbag. And I'll be in South Florida here in about a week and a half. I can't wait to gather around with all 12 Marlins fans together at a golf tournament, and we're going to have a damn good time.
Dare you say he is atrocious, Sprouse?
There ain't a word for that guy.
That's an atrocious award right there.
There is not a word for that scumbag, dude. That's all I got. I'm done. Anyway, so in the college football realm, all right, nothing as crazy as that's going on, other than the fact that Attendance is down across the country, really. Again, it's been a problem for a long time, but the numbers came out the other day, and attendance is down once again. So I'll go to you, Tip. I know you've got some of the numbers in front of you. You just kind of give us a rundown of what's happening across the country.
Yeah, absolutely. So with these numbers that were released, they did not include the 2020 season because of COVID, and a lot of the schools were not allowing anybody to come into attendance for the games, or it was limited capacity for the games. So college football as a whole is down year over year for the last 7 seasons. So that's going back to 2014. Between 2019 and 2021, average attendance for all of college football went down by a little over 1,600. So it went down to little under 40,000 on average per school. And that's the lowest it's been since 1981. Now, break this down to the conference levels. You have the AAC average little over 28,000 per AAC school. Then you got the Mountain West, a little over 21,000 per school. Sunbelt, a little over 18,000. Conference USA, pretty much right at 18,000. And then the MAC coming in last at about 17,500. But listen to these percentage changes from 2019 to 2021.
Those numbers, I mean, let's be real. I think those are inflated too. I mean, I can tell you there wasn't 17,000 at a whole lot of MAC games.
No.
Right.
They're probably inflated, but they're also being dragged down by like the teams that are last
2
or 3, 4 teams in the league. Their numbers are twice as bad as the team is the top 5.
Yeah, the AAC is probably getting carried by Cincinnati, UCF, and then USF, and some of them are dragging them down. Tip, what are the percentages you got there?
Yeah, so the percentage difference changed from 2019 to 2021. You had the American down 3% from 2019. You had the Mountain West down 8% from 2019. You had actually 2 conferences that actually saw an increase from 2019. You had the Sun Belt at 0.04%, but hey, it's still an increase. I know it's small, but it's still an increase. You had the MAC coming in at 12.5% increase. And then Conference USA down 11.5% from 2019.
Yikes. Jesse, why do you think, I mean, there's a lot of factors, but what do you think is causing that, you think, for the most part?
Well, first off, I'm not that surprised that the Sun Belt has gained a little more traction, more percentage of fans, because I've been saying it for 12 months now. I think the Sun Belt has just been the conference just consistently improving. I don't even want to say month to month, day to day, that conference is improving. But when I look at attendance, for me personally, I'm a cheapskate. And so I think that the games alone are just getting ridiculous, especially when you look at that Power 5 level, how expensive, like the quote unquote big games. These tickets are getting to be like $400 or $500 for nosebleed seats. So me personally, if as a college football fan, I don't mind going to buy a $70 piece of meat, throwing it on my Traeger, buying a few cigars, buying a case of beer, watching football all day with my buddies, and getting to flip around to multiple games in my backyard, listening to crickets, and then watching the fireflies at night. It's a perfect Saturday for me. And then I'm spending probably a third of what I would do if I went to the games and dealing with the traffic and dealing with the 30-minute bathroom lines. Once I start drinking, I piss about once every 10 minutes. And it becomes a deal where, am I going to get arrested if I piss in this corner, or I need to wait in the bathroom line? So I'm also putting myself at risk on these football games. But with all that being said, when I do go to the games, do I have a great time? Yes. And I feel like college NCAA needs to figure out, how do we get these guys out of their houses? How do we get Jesse out of his backyard and he'd want to go to see, Georgia State, go see App State, go see Tulsa? What do we need to do? So I don't have that answer. I'm not smart enough for that answer. I just know I like cooking out and watching TV outside. That's what I like.
I'll tell you what. Just to tag on to what you got there, what would make what you just said a better scenario, in my opinion, is if you had that piece of meat you're smoking, you had the beer, you had the cigars, but you're with 20 or 30,000 people in the same parking lot with the same cause. Yeah. That's what. And you're right. I mean, some of the games you go to, and if there's not a decent tailgate, it's not quite as fun. But I can tell you, you know, most of the games that we got to go to this year, it was a damn good time. You know, smoking whatever, cooking burgers, of course, in Louisiana, all the Cajun food, the beer, whatever. I mean, it is. I mean, I'm with you. I don't know what the solution is, because you got TVs now and virtual stuff. You feel like you are there. You feel like you're standing on the damn field now. Yeah. And then, yeah, you ain't got to go wait in the beer line and spend $8 on a natty light. You just go to the fridge, grab as many as you want.
I think the group of 5 guy traveling experience, it's like an experiment on me. So I'm the guy that likes to sit out back and watch these football games, right? But I will tell you right now, the best weekend I had in the fall wasn't me sitting on my back porch and watching, 10 different football games. My best weekend was going to Boone, North Carolina, going to Charlotte, going to Statesboro. And that's what it's going to be all about for us traveling, is to show the experience we had, and so that others will follow. Right. Yeah.
Well, Jeff, here's the deal. You've got, a bunch of kids, you got a wife. So you think that's a big part of it? Just like you're buying, hell, you got to buy 5 tickets. You got to buy 5 hot dogs. You got to pay for parking. You got to pay for every little thing that you do. You think that's a big cause for most people?
Yeah. I mean, I would say for sure that's a huge deal for me personally. I mean, you're talking just to get in the gate, depending on what game we're going to. I mean, I can speak, for middle. I mean, you're talking close to $100, and that's just on tickets. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that doesn't, come with the cotton candy and the hot dog and the drink and everything else. So I think there's definitely something to everything being so expensive, especially when you're, in families is honestly one of the demographics you want to come to the game, because you're starting those kids and those fans off at a very young age that hopefully will be lifetime fans that come and support every home game that they can make. So I think definitely the cost is a huge thing. I think just the day and age that we're in today as well, with, there's just so much going on. There's so many more things to do than there used to be. And frankly, in general, I think the stigma that football has just generally gotten over the last decade of it being dangerous and not, and all these negative connotations that it's got, I mean, that has an effect on people that, the players that are going and playing football, those numbers are down too. So naturally, if you got people that don't play as much, you're going to have less viewers as well. So I think it's just a big combination of, it is getting more expensive to go to these games. You got, just less viewership in general with sports in general, with so many other things going on. I hate it, but, every time we go to a game, we have a blast. And Sprouse, you're right on with the tailgate. The tailgate sets the pregame mood off, and then all that carries in, to the games. And I think if you see these big time schools that are selling out their stadiums week in and week out, their tailgates are rocking to begin with, and then that rolls right into the game. So,
yeah. Hey, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
You know what hot dogs are made out of?
Well, it depends what kind of hot dog you're talking.
Lips and assholes.
I'm more of an all beef type of guy, but whatever floats your boat, bud.
Well, to touch on a couple of things, like especially with the kids, and I'm realizing that now, like if you got, I don't know, younger than 10, that's a hell of a long day.
Oh, it is
for a youngster, man, and they can't do it. So then it's like, okay, do I leave at halftime? Does my wife leave at halftime? Do I stay? Does the whole family pack up and leave? Like, what are we going to do? Especially if you tailgate, right? And especially if it's early in the year and it's hot as hell outside. But, it's funny. You also talked about that, like the tailgate setting the tone. When we were at App and Charlotte and Louisiana, Statesboro, everywhere, like that tailgate, you tailgate with people you've never, at least, we got the opportunity to, and I think most people do when you tailgate. You get the opportunity to tailgate and have a beer and some food with somebody you'd never met before. And just that little bit, and then it's like, you're like best friends with that guy all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And then like we're watching the games with guys that we met 30 minutes ago, and we're hugging, we're high-fiving. We've been friends for 25 years. Like we're just, they're one of the group of 5 guys, and we're one of whatever group they're in. And I think that's what sells you on going to the game. It's like you put everything aside, put the commercials aside. You don't have to listen to the garbage. Yeah, that's selling point number 1. You don't have to listen to Tom Lugenball
Or Anish.
I mean, you just go to the game and you hear the pads popping, you hear the chin straps buckling, the cleats, smells, everything, man.
Well, what I was going to say real quick, Sprouse, to kind of piggyback off of that is, I mean, that's what football is in general anyways. It's a brotherhood. And when you go to these tailgates and you get to meet, all these fans, all these diehard dedicated fans, I mean, they welcome you with open arms, and it's just an awesome feeling. It almost makes us, it made me personally feel like it was almost like you're back in the locker room again with like-minded people that are about the same cause. And that's what I think people in general miss too by not going to these games, is they miss out on that camaraderie, miss out on that feeling like, it's more than just me, that single mindset mentality.
Yeah, it is. And that's kind of what, like, again, to piggyback, as we say, like, it's kind of what sport is altogether, right? It's like, and especially, and football's probably the best example of this. Like, it doesn't freaking matter where you came from, what you look like, religion, race, all that stuff. It's like, for those couple of hours, we have this goal and nothing else matters. And it's something that, hell, I mean, we need some more of it in this world. So, that's interesting. We'll see. I mean, hell, we'll be at the games this year. Schedules are coming out. I think Sunbelt will be out. Well, by the time this show gets released, Sunbelt and Mac will both be out. Should be able to start penciling in some dates for y'all and see when we're gonna come to town. So try to get that hyped up. Well, anybody got a last word on attendance, and then we're gonna get to an interview. And we have, like I said, an absolute legend coming up next. But anybody got one more thing on
no, I just got really fired up. I was like, it's March 1st now. Finally. Actually, you said it was 178 days away.
Yeah.
And you're like, how long away that is? I feel like New Year's was literally last night. It's going to be here before you know it. And I got to get in shape because I got to be ready to start drinking some beer because I'm going to be drinking a shit ton of beer.
You gotta get game ready, Grish.
I gotta get game ready. I gotta start focusing. I gotta start sweating. I gotta start drinking. So I can't wait for it. I think I think last year was a hell of a year, especially with the ride that Cincinnati went on. I just have this inkling feeling that we're going to have even a better year this year because I think it's going to be more than just one team in the group of 5 that's going to be showing out. I think it's going to be a couple. It'll be several of them. So it's going to be an exciting year, and it's going to be here before you know it.
I got goosebumps, Jess. Fired up. We're getting close. Can't wait. We caught up with, like I said, a legend, an icon, former coach of Jeff Murphy. That interview's coming up.
Guys, we told you that we have an incredible guest. We've got a legend, an icon, a TV star, former coach of our very own Jeff Murphy. Jeff, I'm going to pass it to you, let you do the honors and introduce our special guest today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to introduce this guest. My former head coach at Laney Junior College, and let me just give you a little background, a little rap sheet here of just Beam's coaching career. So over 40 years of coaching experience, right? He's got multiple league and section championships at Skyline High School, which is in Oakland, California. He's got multiple league and bowl championships at Laney Junior College. He's got a state championship, #1 ranked in the country at Laney after a season. He's got over 200 plus Division I player scholarships under his watch. He's got over 20 players in the NFL. He's the only coach to be awarded both the high school football coach of the year and the community college football coach of the year. And he starred in he was the head coach in season 5 of Netflix Last Chance U. But here's the big thing, and this is why I love him so much. So if all that wasn't enough, right? So let me give you a little background, a little quick story. When I was 17 years old, I was getting ready to graduate high school. My father passed away in April of my senior year, right before we were going to graduate. And I came to Laney at a pretty tough time in my life, and Beam was there for me and taught me so much on the field, but taught me more off the field than I could ever explain. And it's my honor and pleasure that he's coming on our podcast. Head coach of Laney College, John Beam. How are you, Beam?
I'm good, baby. Here we go now. 2 claps. Ready?
Oh, jacked it up. Sorry. That's why I wouldn't make your team.
You know how to do it right there. You know the snap count. Murph, I love you, man.
Love you too.
Hey, not only this, right? It was a tough time for Jeff. I want you guys to think about this, right? Jeff is 17. His dad passed away. He comes over to Laney, and he has to gray shirt because he has to help run the family business, the deli, right? And he's at the deli every day, going to school and at football practice, doesn't miss a beat. And when we're getting ready for a game, he's making the sandwiches for our team to go and take it, right? While he's shirting. And he's so humble about it, right? But because that's what his family needed. So I love you, Murph, because you put your family first. You still do put your family first. And I appreciate when you offered me this chance to come on your podcast. I could not wait. Group of 5. I love it. You know, we get tired of all that, Power 5 bullshit.
That's right.
Man.
Hell yeah.
Football's football, baby, right? Hey, we're all in the trenches. Us linemen, we hang out together. We know our quarterbacks are pretty boys, but you know what? What you do in a trench, whether you're at a Power 5, a Group of 5, or a JC or a high school, it's still the same, man. You got to grind, right? You got to get out the mud and grind. So I'm thankful for this. I'm glad that you're talking about the Group of 5 because I think they get overlooked so much. So thank you. I'm here. Let's go. Let's shoot it, boys. Let's go.
Coach, I'm telling you, talking about Group of 5, we talk about every a lot of the episodes. We played against a lot of Power 5 schools, but to this day, as a fellow offensive lineman, the hardest players I went against in that Group of 5, man, those boys will come off the ball and look for somebody to hit. I'm telling you. The Group of 5 is not messing around. Those defenses are head hunters, and I usually was the one getting my head knocked off. So I know for experience.
Well, I think when you look at it too, we look at the Power 5, right? But we should really call the Power 5. There is like Power 5 of 5 schools, maybe 10, right?
Yeah.
After that, the next group, whether you're, I don't know, Vanderbilt and Middle Tennessee, how much difference is there really? I mean, let's be honest, right?
They got doctors.
NC State and Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Boise and I don't know, Purdue. I mean, let's don't get it twisted, guys. Right? Football's football, but Alabama, Clemson, right? Georgia,
Ohio State,
Texas, Ohio State, Michigan. All right, I get it. SC maybe now with Coach making a big change. Coach Riley making a difference, right? We'll see. Washington, Oregon, but the other guys are all the same. Washington State, San Diego State. Come on. Think about it. San Diego State, where the starting quarterback was a Laney College guy, by the way.
Sure
Mark,
was.
beat Utah and beat Arizona this year.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
Utah State took out Washington State.
Yeah,
So
well,
Washington
Utah State
wasn't
took out San Diego State too. So
Yeah.
it is what it
no,
is. And they took out Oregon State in the bowl game. So yeah, I guess we have to give it names and labels, but really outside of that group of maybe 10 schools, football's football, brother. Now those 10,
No doubt.
they are playing a little bit different game, guys. They got some dudes, man. They got some Jimmies and Joes.
Yeah.
Well, just to pick off from there before you get started, Murph, I will say that the Group of 5 conference representing out there in California, the Mountain West, has been by far the most impressive, especially from this past season. I mean, the talent those guys put on the field, what they did against Power 5 schools, what they did against each other, it was a betting nightmare for Mountain West because the team in last place would take out the team in first place because of just how much talent was on the field. It's got to be something, inspiring for your guys at Juco to get into the Mountain West Conference because that's a good conference to be in for sure.
It's a good conference, but you know what? Like when we send our kids to Conference USA or Sun Belt or the MAC, I'm not mad at it, right? Because look, you get a chance to keep playing something that you love, and you get to experience something new. So let's think about it. Murph, Jeff loves Alameda, he loves his family, but he found something in Tennessee that is special, and he didn't want to come back, right? And so we were able to offer that to him, right? And when I say we, there's an opportunity, and now he's Tennessee's getting a little bit of California there. You got a little Raider love out there, probably.
Get a lot of it.
You get Domingos. You get my favorite deli, right? Do we got the Laney special out there?
We sure did. It's the first one on the menu, Coach.
Woo!
Had to hold it down for all the polys back home. They would walk into an Italian deli and they wouldn't know what to order. So that just became the Laney special. Every time they would come in, they'd be like, I want the Laney special. Like, all right, we got it. Dip it right up.
Those polys, man. Woo!
I love them. Love playing with them. Hate playing against them.
Yeah.
But, Coach, real quick,
Yep.
So a lot of our listeners and viewers, they might not know exactly who you are. If you could just give us a little rundown of your coaching career. And I mean, you're an Oakland legend, man. Anybody who's played football or is from Oakland knows John Beam. So if you can, just give us a little background.
Man, you did a great job. You want me to do it again? I feel like I'm a offensive lineman. No one's supposed to know us unless we hold, right? So basically, I've been coaching. I just finished up my 42nd year of coaching. If we had COVID, it would have been 43. I started out as an offensive line coach in San Diego. I played offensive line in junior college. I was a 205-pound all-conference left tackle, baby. I want you all to hear that. 205 pounds. I cheated like hell. I was a leg whipper. I did what I clipped and rolled. You name it, I did it. But you know what? I did good. But I played with some great people. My quarterback there, my first year, freshman year, he went on to play, coach in the NFL. Been a head coach in the group of 5 at Colorado State, was an NFL coordinator. So, I played good football, and I went to Skyline High School where I didn't lose a game in the 90s. So I went 10 years without losing a league game. I came to Laney where Murph was at, and I was able to kind of elevate the program a little bit when I got there. So JC football at the time I entered California JCs were 3 levels, A, B, and C. So Murph's team was a B level team. And then we changed it again to 2 levels, A and B. Well, I'm the first guy that's ever come from a small school, right, and moved up, and we won the state championship. And we did it with local kids. I believe in community college, right? Now, I'll take a couple out-of-state guys, especially they're from Georgia, Tennessee, that can go. But when we won the state championship, we only had, I think 8 out-of-state guys. And most of those kids were kids that had grown up in Oakland, but then moved away, their families moved away, and then came back to play. I've been real blessed to have some phenomenal athletes, right? I think one of the highlights of my career was being at the Super Bowl for Marvell Smith when the Steelers won the Super Bowl. And my daughters and I were on the field when the confetti came down when they beat Seattle.
That's awesome.
Right? But more importantly, I think it's more important as the guys that, if you can say that you made a difference in someone's life, right? If you, like Murph said, that it was a tough time. His dad just passed away, and you could just be there for him. Not as a football coach or anything else, but just as a human being, right? Then I'm happy, right? I think, that's what it's about. Like I tell everyone, my job is to believe in you so that you can believe in yourself. Because how many times in your life do you doubt something's going on and, just kind of doubt, you don't feel right about it, and no one's there to help you? I tell people all the time when I was a teacher and I taught in Oakland, I've been, and you see a kid wearing the same clothes every day, do you ever say anything to them and ask why? Or maybe their clothes are a little bit dirty, right? Well, maybe because they're living in a car. Well, Last Chance U came out. I was featured on season 5 of Last Chance U, and, millions of people watched me worldwide. But I got letters and emails and social media hits from kids I taught saying that when you made a shower coach in PE in junior high, I was so thankful because we were living in a car and I didn't have a place to clean up. I didn't get to tell people, but I got to clean up that day. Or this young woman said that I saved her life in 2 different occasions when she was getting beat up, and I saved her. And she's actually up for an Oscar, right? You make a difference in someone's life. Now, you don't have to be the coach. You don't have to be the teacher. You can just be the deli owner that notices something, or maybe you notice someone outside that hasn't eaten, all of a sudden. Do we take the chance to notice people and step up and just be human beings and say, hey, do you need a hand, right? And I think that's what I've been able to do, and I hope when you saw Last Chance U, you saw that. Now, I'm going to get the best out of you now on the football field. Trust me. I'm going to be in that ass, right? We're going to go harder than you've ever gone. We're going to play harder. We're going to rock and sock, but we're going to have fun at it, right? I want you to get a degree. I was so happy. My goal was just to have people graduate and get degrees. So at Laney, I got a 92% graduation transfer rate. Why? Because I deal with kids that have been told that they don't belong in school. I've worked with kids every day that have been saying that, you know what? You need to go do something else. You're going to go to jail. Why are we even trying to educate you? And yet they've now have become what? Doctors, lawyers, right? Actors, actresses, right? Teachers, coaches, social workers, firemen, police officers. Just because someone took the time and said, you know what, you can make it. And I'm proud of that every single day. So Murph, is that what you wanted? Is that too much? I'm not trying to, pat myself on the back. I'll let you pat me.
No,
Right?
that was perfect.
Okay.
I mean that just sums up who you are, where you came from, you as a man, as a coach. I mean, everything you said, I can testify to it. It's factual, and all the difference you made in my life. I mean, it still carries. I use it on my kids now, being like, when my son wants to cry because I won't let him win. When you would tell that story about how you would whip your daughter's ass in Chutes and Ladders, and you won't let her win until she figures out a way to win. Like, I'm doing that with my kids. So
now let's be careful. Now we don't put no hands on them. We just teach them how to compete, right?
That's right. But that's what you were doing, though, and that's
right. We teach you how to compete, and it's okay to lose because you learn from losses too, right?
100%.
But we were there to wipe the tears and say, let's try it again. But we don't give them the answer, right?
Yep.
We start to give them the tools to find the answer, and I think that's the key, right? And I think we forget it sometimes, right? I mean, a lot of the people that I've coached, and you know that from the teams that we had at Laney, just the 3 years that you were there, right? They didn't have fathers in their lives. Well, I want them to be successful fathers, right? I want them to, stay at home, and, it's okay to be a dad, right? It's okay to, take them and not just buy them the coolest shoes, but, let's go take them out to the playground. Let's push the swing, let's push the stroller. As you saw in season 5 of Last Chance U, New brought his kids to school. Like, bring your kids to school so that you can go to school, right? I don't want that to be an excuse. If I have to help watch your daughters, I will. It's not I've been watching kids my whole life. So that's no big deal for me, right? Bring your kids to school, we'll make it work. And we did. And you see, New got a Division I scholarship, went to Murray State, was awesome. But, he went from a greeter or whatever at Walmart, minimum wage job, coming to Laney, got his degree, transferred to Division I, got his degree from there, is married with 2 kids and is successful now. That's a win, guys. That's bigger than this ring, right? I mean, they don't give me a ring for that. I don't need a ring for that because I get to see it. When I walk around the town and it's town biz, it takes my wife and I hours to get through the town because everyone wants to stop and tell a story and thank me for something, right? That's the accolades I want. And I hope when you saw the show, you saw some of that. Now, remember, when you watch the show, you see 8 hours. But they filmed us for 6 to 7 hours a day, 6 days a week for 2.5 months. You should see the shit they put on the ground that didn't make it to the show.
I can only imagine,
smokes, brother.
Yeah, Woo! Coach, what's it like having Netflix out there? I remember back when we were all in high school, they had the 2-a-days show about Hoover High School, and then was it a distraction at all for the players or for the coaches, or how'd that fit with you guys?
I think the first day it is, first couple of days it is, kids are trying to play to the camera and stuff. And then you got, you get used to it. And then, Murph, you'll appreciate this. They, my deck on the field house, they try to get up on the deck for lunch without asking permission. I kick their ass off that deck so fast. Nothing happens in this field house without my permission. I didn't give you permission. You need to ask. But anyways, no, it's phenomenal, right? After a while, they become part of your family, right? Because you see them every day. And they start like 2 of the guys actually grew up in Oakland, and we had, certain things in common, new people. And you start sharing these stories, and they hear your stories about what you're doing every day and what's going on. And then they start to share their stories growing up. So it's huge. And then when they leave after 2.5 months, man, you got to go through withdrawals. Like, oh my God, they're not here no more. I mean, it's crazy. Like, they have 3 cameras on campus every day. They have 10 camera crews on a game day. A camera crew is a cameraman, a sound guy, and a a gopher, right? But there's 6 of them per camera. So when you got 3 camera crews, you got 18 people. But they mic up somewhere between 10 and 15 people. So there's producers listening to all these mics all over the place as kids are going about their day. If they hear a story they like, well, one of those 3 cameras runs to it, right? So there's a lot of people. So now you got this mic. You're wearing like a $20,000 cordless mic, right? And you got to go there. Like, I learned how to unplug it because there's times I got to go take a piss, man. I don't even hear me pissing. You know, excuse my language on your show. I don't know if that's good or not.
No, you're good.
Get
Yes,
bleeped or
shit,
something.
you're fine.
Okay. So, you know, you kind of worry about that stuff, right? So I learned how to unplug that thing pretty quick. But, you know, you sign on and you go, here's the deal, right? And Murph, you watched the show. I mean, was that me? Is that who I really am? Did they portray me in the right way, or do you think it was wrong?
No,
you know, that's my question
no, I
to
mean, you were exactly who. I mean, I was sitting at home cracking up, and my wife Scarlett was like, was he really like this? I was like, he's actually tame because I think the cameras are on him.
Well, they said I'm tame because I got a little bit older, right?
You probably
So,
had you probably had Coach Jason Brown. He probably gave you a call and gave you some advice on how to handle the cameras from the previous Last Chance U.
I think
So I imagine he gave you good advice. And
yeah, we didn't talk. We definitely we've never talked. How about that? I'm just
there you go. I got a question real quick before we move on. What's the deal with the carrots? Is that like your favorite snack, or what is it? Because I've had carrots like twice in my life.
So, I mean, here's the real deal, right? My dad, I love my dad, right? And, you know, my dad lived about 74, 75, but he was a big man, right? And he would, as he got older, you know, he's pushing well over 300 pounds. And, you know, he'd fall down and no one could pick him up. They had to call 911 and, you know, just moving around. So I said, you know, I didn't want to put my wife and my daughters in that situation where I couldn't take care of myself, right? So I said, you know what? I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to eat well. And I'm going to eat whatever I want on the weekends and dinner. But, you know, during breakfast and lunch, I'm going to eat healthy. I get my 10,000 steps a day, right, Murph? I walk everywhere.
Yep.
You know, I mean, even when I go to Murph's, I had to go, like, I couldn't get the Laney special because it's got, you know, it's all the pastrami and the bacon. So I'd have to get like a turkey or an egg salad sandwich.
You always get the egg salad
to stay healthy, right? So it was more just a thing, you know, to look out for my family at the end of the day. How can I eat healthy and watch what I do, you know?
Okay.
And so, yeah, I got up to around 230, 235 maybe. Now I'm under 200. Yeah, we'll see what's happening. I still get 260 on the bench, you know. I did 260 at 62 years old, so I think I can still hit because you saw on the show, I'm doing sets of 10 at 225 on the bench, baby.
It was only fitting that I asked that question because you're basically telling me to eat some more carrots. Yeah. I got you. I take
Jesse. We're not going to be able to pick
I'm
you
the
up,
guy
buddy.
that buys the carrots, puts in the refrigerator. 2 weeks later, like, oh shit, I got carrots, and I got to throw them in the trash can. Go buy more carrots. They just end up turning into mold.
They do. You know, I mean, I started out doing the celery and peanut butter. You know, trying to do, and then you just finally just bite the carrots, so to speak. Right? Just, you know what I mean? Just do it right. You know, stay off of it, and you know, you feel better at the end of the day. But you know, I started that later in life too, probably in my 40s, right? Not in my young 30s.
I still got a shot.
Yeah, you got plenty of time, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
The best is we would be in quarterback meetings, and he would be just crunching on those carrots, and he'd have the little cowboy clicker just pointing at the screen, and I'll be like, what's the deal with the carrots, Beam? I got to know.
Carrots and grapes, right? I have my grapes.
Carrots and grapes, that's it.
Hey, Coach, you touched on, you know, Murph's Grind, making the sandwiches, doing the gray shirt thing. And I think the Netflix gave a pretty good insight on that Juco Grind.
Yeah.
But can you get into it a little bit more, the Juco Grind, especially the Cali, you know, Cali Juco is even more of a grind than like the Kansas and Mississippi grind.
Absolutely.
But,
that's a great
question.
Go
into that a little bit.
So, you know, we don't have scholarships. It's illegal to have scholarships, right? In California. So they come, they got to pay their way, you know, and they got to work if they got to pay bills or commute, right? Help their families. And then, for God's sake, we can't even feed them or some violation unless it's after a away game. You can't even feed them after home games, right? So on the show, there's a couple things where I give some kids some carrots, right? One of my buddies in AD called, goes, you know, they're going to try to hit you with a violation for feeding the kid a carrot. I go, you know what? Sanction my ass, right? I will never let a kid go hungry, right? If they're hungry, I'm going to find a way to feed them. That's crap. That's just, like I said, that's about being a human being. But the California community college are so anti-human in essence, right? That we can't even feed a kid now. But Murph, you'll love it now. We feed the kids every day lunch. I worked it out. I get them a pantry once a week, so they can take home up to 3 pounds of ground beef, a couple dozen eggs, rice and beans, right? Noodles. They got canned pasta sauce. You'll hate that, but at least we try. You know what I mean? So we're able to give them once a week. They can take groceries home. So yeah, we're trying to move some stuff up. And Aisha and Steph Curry paid for a lot of that stuff for us.
Wow.
When
That's
was
pretty cool.
that last chance you season 5? When was that technically filmed? Was that
2019.
2019.
Yep.
Okay, but you couldn't do all that grocery deal.
They did so they had pantries on campus, right? You had to go up to the main campus, but they passed it out like at 2:00. Well, we're on practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our players could go get it, right? So now they bring it actually down to me at the field house. We pick it up, it's laid out, the kids just take it and go, right? So I worked out a nice little deal, and then the lunches are all happened because of the pandemic, actually. Aisha and Steph Curry went out, and what they did was instead, what they were trying to do is all these small businesses, right? Like Murph's mom's business, right? So they wouldn't close. They would contract with them to make like 200 lunches. And then they would give them to nonprofits. So you kept businesses alive, right, to make the food, small restaurants and businesses. And then you fed these schools and nonprofits with these lunches. And we've just continued it on right now.
That's awesome.
Very cool. Very cool.
Let's talk about Middle Tennessee football, huh? I want to know why you didn't take care of my boy Murph, man. I sent you a winner. And he gets over there, he shirts for a minute on a bad ankle. Then he's kind of starting, and the next minute he's not. How come you didn't let my boy how come you didn't turn him loose?
Murph, did you not tear your knee up in practice?
That was my senior year.
That damn turf.
Yeah.
Well,
the year after they replaced it, but
I'll
never forget when I first saw him. I mean, there was a wave of Cali boys that came in out of nowhere because apparently Tennessee. We were just we just realized that California had some pretty good football players. We're going to bring them down south because the year Murph came, I've met 3 or 4 really good friends. Now, Murph's one of my best friends, but the funny thing is he didn't start off as one of my best friends. I didn't like his face for some reason. I was like, this guy, he's just, I don't know.
It's hard to like it. You're from the South. You got a guy from Cali, huh? You got a Cali.
Well, it was that I didn't like him. It was just we never really talked that much. But you had Jared Bamber coming in. You had Logan Kilgore, Vince Van Horn. You had all these guys come in. But then I remember he invited me to his house one night. We shared a beer together. We sat there. We talked. We got personal. And next thing you know, when I blocked for him, I would give my life for that guy. And I was fortunate enough to be his left tackle, sometimes his center, sometimes his right guard. If I screwed up, he let me know. I would never tell him he was wrong because he was never wrong. But we had a blast out there in football games, on the sidelines. And the thing that I love about Murph is that he was just the definition of what I explained what college football is all about. It's a brotherhood, both of these guys. And just the way that he goes about life. And honestly, now I see where he gets some of it from is from you. But we literally just had the time of our lives at college. Now, playing time wise, he can respond to that, but he may have some regrets. I know he got hurt. He's a hell of a football player. And I think he has no regrets going to MTSU. One, because he met his wife and he has 3 beautiful children, and he met me. For sure.
He's got a big ass farm out there too. He's
got a big ass farm. He's got horses. 4 horses.
Yeah.
You got 4 horses?
Nah, just 2.
Sorry,
just
2.
Murph, did you even ride horses when you grew up in Alameda?
No, sure didn't.
Do you know how to shovel shit?
Of course, you have to know how to do that.
Okay.
Nah, but that's I love it out here, but actually the main reason where me and Jesse really became close was my mom would send me out those huge sticks of Molinari salami, and he came across and he's like, "What is this?" I was like, "Oh, this is hot salami from our deli back home," and I gave him 1 slice and that was it. He would just come into my house and I would notice big chunks would just keep going missing after that. So I think it was the
Hey Murph, where do you get all the Italian meats in Tennessee? Do you have to ship it from your mom, or you got a guy out there somewhere?
I got a distributor that pulls it out of the West Coast. Yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah, from Molinari out in San Francisco.
that's great.
Yeah.
And then you got all my bruschettas and what's the little thin cup copas and
Yeah, the Copa and the prosciutto.
Gabagoo.
pancetta.
Yeah, absolutely. We got it all. Beam. Next coaching convention, you come out here, you got to swing
I
on
know.
by and through Murfreesboro.
Do you ever come down south, Coach?
Yeah. We got the annual convention, right? It's in Nashville, Louisville. One of my best friends growing up, we've been friends since second grade, lives in Atlanta. So I fly into Atlanta, hang out with him for a day. Then him and I drive from there either to Nashville or Louisville. And we always stop in Murfreesboro, meet up with Jeff, and we eat barbecue because he didn't have the deli yet, but we'd eat some great barbecue. And then we finish up. So now we're going to we're going to go into the town square of Murfreesboro, whatever the hell it is. Jeff
Murfreesboro.
I like Murphyville. That's pretty cool.
Murph, I do too.
I do. I like that better.
Change the name.
Yeah.
And we go hang out there with Murph and sit there at the square and just have a good time, man.
That'll be fun.
That's right.
This guy, so Murph was a winner. So think about this. Wait, now he's a starting quarterback, right? Let's go back one more bit. He's our starting quarterback. He still's got to make the sandwiches during double days because all the kids go to eat. And then before away games, he's got to make the deli sandwiches before we get on the team bus.
Well, can I pause real quick? So was this right after your gray shirt year? You come in and now you're starting at Leeds College?
Yeah.
Laney College. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, 2 years he started and he still had to make sandwiches.
So you are the starting quarterback and you're still providing food for your team for the games.
Yeah, I would give my offensive linemen if they wouldn't give up a sack, I would feed the whole offensive lineman the next week.
Good thing I didn't know about it. It had to probably a violation.
It probably would have been.
Coach,
you probably fed Coach Dill, didn't you? Coach Dill probably got.
Oh yeah.
Coach, Jeff definitely learned something from you about helping a guy on a hard time. So this is when me and Jeff became real tight, and then I know we got some questions to go. So I had a roommate at one time that just up and bounced on a lease on an apartment. One of my guys, I thought, yeah, he's on this podcast actually.
Did he pay back now?
And so
I got a job in Alabama. I had to leave.
And he bounced on our lease and left all his stuff. But anyway.
Did you sell his shit?
I'm not even going to comment.
I'm kidding. But anyway, no. But it was, we did. I didn't have a lot of time basically to find another spot. And Jeff and his lovely wife, and at the time their newborn baby Dominic, they let me come live at the house for what was supposed to only be like a couple months, turned out to be like a year. But,
really? Good, Merv. That's what
man. But the guy, then hopefully I was a decent roommate.
Oh, he was a fantastic roommate. He big meal prepping coach. He was on the healthy train back then.
Okay.
So,
okay.
He good.
Now, any of you guys coaching football
he can also
now?
be a piece of shit sometimes.
Oh, I bet. Is anybody here coaching football right now?
No, I was.
Well, I know you were, Murph.
Oh yeah.
No, but I'll tell you right now. I know we're getting sidetracked, but old Matt Sprouse was close. He was basically GA in his senior year, and he did a really good job. And if MTSU were able to follow through with getting his masters, I guarantee you Sprouse would be coaching right now.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe. Dabo Sweeney was selling life insurance until he was like 35 years old. So
he might get back into it.
It's still an open door, I guess. But
Alabama.
Anyway.
Yeah, we talked. Yeah, I can imagine that. Let me ask you this, right? So, did you guys know the story about how Merv got to Middle Tennessee? Did he ever tell you how he got recruited there?
Well, as a player, I just thought that Tony Franklin went over there, saw the stash, and was like, "This guy can play." And then he said, "Let's go." Are you pretty close with Tony Franklin?
I am. So Tony comes out to work out Murph, but Tony's not at Middle Tennessee anymore. He's at La Tech.
Oh, he left to go to La Tech. That's right.
Right. So he has Murph throw. He likes Murph, but he doesn't love Murph. But he loves Murph's good friend and best friend on the team, and a little bit, Talib, our receiver, and ends up offering the receiver a Scully. Right, and he was out there to see Murph. The receiver's just there running routes. Well, then the Middle Tennessee OC, who was that at the time, Murph?
That was a guy from TCU.
Schultz,
yeah. Schultz comes out and comes out to watch Talib, the receiver. Right? and is watching talent, but doesn't love talent, but likes how the Murph's throwing the ball. And they offer Murph. Is that just crazy?
It's wild.
Sounds like
best decision that ever happened to me.
And then, and the thing that's so funny is that Franklin still talks today. He says, I should have taken him. I should have taken Murph.
Well,
Murph was what I liked the most about Murph, and this is becoming the Murph show. What I liked about you the most, Murph, was the way that you controlled, not say controlled the atmosphere, but when we would do scrimmages or in a game and stuff, how you would calm down the situation. You were a good leader on the field. I would just, the stress would kind of go away. But when I would look at you, I'd be like, oh, I'm playing ball with my friend right now. This is fun, because sometimes you're in situations where, you start getting stressed out or anxiety or, I don't think I ever false started with you at quarterback.
No, but you did snap it over my head a couple times.
Well,
that's because you got to get taller, Murph.
That's because sometimes the balls would get weighted down with water and stuff. There's all kind of physics to it. But but Murph did a really good job of keeping everybody calm and just being like just one of the guys out there. That's what I liked most about Murph and the way his attitude was on the field. And I think that's why I could drink a beer with you after every practice.
There's no doubt about that.
Then you were a beer drinker. Were you 21 yet?
Shortly after I got here, yeah.
He looked like he was 26 when he got there.
And what'd you guys think of my boy John McDonald out here?
Jay McDonald? I thought he was a great running back.
They wouldn't give him the rock.
He
went down to Tarleton, was all conference.
Yeah. I mean, every time they gave it to him, he would make a play, but I don't know. That was one decision at middle I never really understood. They had a good fast running back and they just could never get him the ball, or I don't know. You know how that goes, Coach. A lot of
so you got that one decision about that and the one that why they didn't start you every game. But that's neither here nor there. It's not the Murph show. Let's talk about the group of five.
Speaking of recruiting, I'm just kind of curious to hear from your side of things. Like, can you kind of add on what's the difference between recruiting from JUCOs, colleges recruiting JUCOs, and colleges recruiting high school athletes? Like, what are the main differences there?
So here's the biggest thing what I tell kids all the time, right? So when we're in California, I'm in Oakland. So remember when I was at Skyline, like I didn't lose a game in the 90s, right? A league game. I was sending out 5 kids a year to Division I. I'm talking SC, you name it, right? And but they were mainly West Coast schools, right? And they're bringing a guy in to develop. But at a JC, number one, they're going to bring in a guy to play now. They're looking for starters, right? They're not looking for guys to develop. Number two is you're not going to come from Middle Tennessee and try to grab a guy out of California to go to Middle Tennessee. Not when he's 17, 18 years old. One, he's going to shirt, right? Mm-hmm. He's away from mama. And now he's in the middle of the country or whatever, even though that Murphyville is not that much of a stick place. But, you're away from home. And you're like, shit, I don't want to be here. So they lose kids, right? But you come get a JC kid. A JC kid figures out, you know what? I got 18 months here, man. It's like doing time in the pen, right? I can do 18 months, right?
That's how they make it sound on Last Chance to Use. Like, I got my time here. I'm getting out.
Yep. I do my time and I go. And so it's true. And if you end out, and a lot of guys end out like Murph, they end out loving the place that they went to. And they meet, the superstar basketball player or, the town queen or princess or whatever it was for homecoming, got a great barbecue family and like, hey, I'm in. And so they now, that's what I like. That's how we spread. That's what this country's made of is adventurous, right? We moved west and we kept going. Now we're kind of moving east from California. But for a JC kid, it's good. Now, what sucks for JC kids right now is the doggone portal, right? The portal, which is a piece of shit for a JC kid right now. You got guys right now in Middle Tennessee, and I'm just using, not specifically, but like a group of 5, will take a kid from a Power 5 that's never played or been sitting on the bench, right, and give him a scholarly over a JC kid that just played 22 games. Started 22 games and balled his ass out. That's got game film, right? And you'll take a guy from the portals that's got some snaps in practice. That's just bullshit to me.
We can't stand it.
It's funny that you say that. I had a in-depth conversation at work. Sprouse, we were talking about the transfer portal, and they wanted to know my opinion on it. And I'm going to admit, I didn't even think about the JUCO effect. about how players are getting overlooked now by Power 5 third stringers that are now want to go to play at either Division 1AA or Group of 5.
Well, Grish,
That's
your
a
boy,
very
take
good
Martell. It's perfect
Yeah.
example.
Martell. I hate Martell. That's just,
Tell me what. Even when he was on QB1, what has he done? You know,
Nothing.
Right.
he got
Nothing.
kicked out of high school for whatever he did, right? And then he goes forward, right, and he doesn't make it at Ohio State, and then he's at somewhere else, and now he's
Miami.
somewhere.
He goes to Miami, and then he don't play in Miami. Then he goes to UNLV, and I don't know if I guess he didn't make it at UNLV. He
Oh,
wasn't
he
able
never
to
played
compete.
I don't
there.
even think he ever got on the roster there. I think
It's
he
this.
could-
If he could stay at Ohio State and actually competed, I mean, I think that'd probably been his best shot. Or just stay at Miami, and we can talk all day about the transfer portal, but we talked about it. I think you get one transfer, and that's it. Like you need to just figure it out, man.
Well, here's a couple things too. Think about this, right? And this is really kind of what Murph and I were talking about. How we teach my daughters, or he's teaching his sons how to compete, right? Today's kid, he doesn't want to compete. He wants to be handed something, right? He's entitled. What do you mean? I got to sit behind Murph? Why? You know what I mean? So if I'm not the starter, I'm going into the portal. How about earn the job?
Yeah.
And then hold on to the job, right? I got this guy telling me that he's one of the high school relations or the player personnel guy at a group of 5. And he's like, well, I'm trying to tell the coach, we gotta give affirmation to these players. We gotta do. What do you mean give affirmation? Shit, he's on scholarship. That's his affirmation. Now I'm gonna coach his ass off. I'm gonna jump in his tail, get in the weight room, get to class, right? Or sit your ass at home. Now they're gonna leave because you don't treat them right. You don't say goo goo gaga. You're not stroking them. I mean, it's ridiculous right now.
Coach, I'm
We
a
got
firm
soft
believer.
kids.
I'm a firm believer, Coach. Within 5 or 10 years, it's going to mean more on a job resume or a resume that you show that you played college football and you played for 4 years at one university or 5 universities. If they see when I'm hiring and I see a guy who was put at university A, B, and C, I'm thinking, oh, so when you get a little adversity, you want to leave?
Yeah.
That's just me, but it might be a lot of people.
No, you're right, dude.
I want to see a guy that's been at a school and he competed for 4 to 5 years and he was able to handle adversity. If you don't start, then tough shit. At least you were able to compete, and maybe you weren't meant to start. I don't know, but you stay there for 4 to 5 years, and I think it shows a lot about character at least.
I'm with you, Jess. I mean, what are you gonna interview for a promotion and not get it, and then leave the company every time and just keep?
Exactly.
And just
Well,
keep,
they are, right?
Yeah.
But how about this one? Let's go one step further. Should your prospective wife look at your resume? Because right?
It does.
Right? Because hey, Murph,
He keeps looking at it every month, and she keeps questioning what she did.
right, Murph, right? You and your wife, right? There's been some adversity, right? Going from one business to another and open it up, right? Are we going to stick together? Are we going to fight through this? Or are we just going to give up and go to the can you just see, hey, baby, I'm going to the transfer portal. I mean, what are we teaching?
It's so true, though. It's
But
so
what
true.
are we teaching people, guys? Like Murph said, right? I'm teaching him lessons on the field every day. That's what I want to do, right? Okay, Murph, gray shirted. Then he was the star quarterback at his high school. He was good, but he gray shirted. Then he's making sandwiches, for God's sake. Then he goes to the middle. They play some games with his injury. They probably wasn't, so get him back. He starts. He's on the poster, but he's not. He didn't quit. He didn't go in the transfer portal. He sucked it up. He got his degree. He learned from that. Maybe he'll learn, hey, I'll teach people differently if I'm a coach, whatever. But the point is, he learned. He didn't badmouth people. He probably a little bit to me, maybe told the guy the coach was a dick. But you know what I mean? Publicly, he was good. But the point was, he's a team player. He's going to support. He's going to support the quarterback from Bakersfield. He's going to support him, any way that he can. He's going to support you as the center, this tackle, right? Because that's what we learn. But we got to keep that up, guys. What are we doing as a society if we run for our problems every single time, right? Football used to be one of the best ways to teach young boys to be young men, to be men, right? And to be success in society, to be able to contribute to society. When I grew up, most of the principals were ex-coaches, right? All of a sudden, they changed the freaking principals to the English teacher or somebody else. Oh, my God. You can't discipline a kid in school now. You got to give that kid respect. He's 16 years old. I'm going to give him the respect I'm going to get him is he can be in my class, shut his mouth, sit in the seat, and be on time.
Amen.
Right? But we do this whole new thing now. Remember, when I started teaching, we were paddling. Let me repeat that. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying when I started teaching,
I'm from Mississippi.
we were paddling. Okay?
I got
Now,
smoked.
I'm not going to tell you if I ever paddled or not, but it was okay to paddle. Right? I'm just saying that. You know, we had a lot more discipline going on, right, than what we see now. And those are the things I think that we're forgetting. This transfer portal. Now, let me just say this. I'm not totally against the portal because why? Guys like Lincoln Riley, Lee's Alabama, or excuse me, from Oklahoma, whatever, go to SC, gonna make, shit, they're giving him $6 million just for his house. Well, you kind of disappointed a bunch of kids that came for Lincoln Riley, right? So those kids should be able to transfer. I have no problem with that. Your coach leaves, you should be able to transfer, right? I also think the NIL is good, right? Coaches are making a hell of a lot of money, right? Maybe not at Middle Tennessee, but at some of these other places. But if you can make some money, if I can get, Murph and them to pay me some money to represent their deli, I'm in it to win it. Shit, just give me a couple free sandwiches, Murph. I'm good. I'll wear your shirt every day at practice, right? But why shouldn't a kid make money if he can, right? I'm not a Johnny Manziel fan by no means, right? But he was making money. They were the NCAA and Texas Tech. He went to A&M. We're making money off of his jersey with his name on it, right? Well, why couldn't he make money off his jersey?
Yeah.
Yep.
I got to know Terrell Pryor, right, from Ohio State when he was with the Raiders. Murph, remember when he was with the Raiders?
Yeah.
This guy just got ambushed about all the problems he did. He couldn't play the last part of his year because he was giving away his ring or his jersey or whatever swag he got from bowl games to get tattoos. You gave him the ring. You gave him the watch. You gave him whatever. It's his now. Why can't he give it to somebody for some freaking tattoos? Now, for me, get money. I wouldn't get tattoos. I get money. But, hey, he wanted tattoos. That's his business. But let me tell you that every one of those Power 5 schools, those ADs are giving alumni that write a big check a ring, a ticket to a game, fly on the team charter, a jersey from the bowl game, every single one of them. So why do they get to do that for money for the program? But the kid that grew up with a single parent has no money. His mom or dad or cousin or auntie or grandma, right, can't even pay to go see him playing a game. But the AD's daughter, the AD's daughter's boyfriend, second cousin get to come? That's bullshit, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just being honest. I can't stand the NCAA. I hate all those organizations because all they are, they're exploiters. They're exploiters of young talent, young people, not even talent, just young people, right? So I'm sorry I got on a rant, guys, but
No, that was fantastic. That was really
I love
good
your
stuff.
rant.
you guys, I'll probably never be on G5 again, man. I'll be banned.
No,
you can come on
I mean,
tomorrow.
Yeah, you will. This is fantastic. I'm just kind of curious, since you're on a roll right now, what are your thoughts on the playoff expansion? Do you think it's good for NCAA football, or do you think it's bad? Do you think it's going to extend the season? Just kind of curious where you think your thoughts are on that.
I think so. Number one, I think it's good, right? Because you're giving the SEC extra weight, right? So a guy loses 1 week and comes right back. You know what I mean? Or even the Big Ten, right? So I think that's good. I also would like to see him give a group of 5 an automatic berth. Like there should be, like we're going to put a group of 5. So if we expand to 8, let's say, right? So we go, all right, the Power 5s you guys are in, but we're going to hold one of those spots, 5 spots, and then 1 spot for a group of 5, and then the other 2 are at large, right? Why not?
Yeah.
So Cincinnati wasn't horrible. They balled. They did as best they could. They made it a little bit exciting for a hot second, They
I
deserved
thought they were very good. I thought they played Alabama pretty damn good.
They did better than Michigan did against Georgia.
So I would have liked to exactly. I would have liked to see them play Michigan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That Georgia and Alabama play, right? Yeah. I mean, but you know what I'm saying? Why not? Why not? Let's give opportunities because let's see what the heck happens.
Yeah.
When Murph's team was playing, what was our record your 2 years there, Murph?
Golly, that was so long ago. I think
1 year we were really good, right?
Both years we were good. I think my first year we were a little bit better. That's when we had Troy Evans who ended up going on to Marshall.
Right. I think we only lost one game.
I think that was the City.
Yeah. So we played well. So why not give us a shot, man? We couldn't that time. We couldn't go play for state championship. But I tell you what, we would have did some damage in the playoff against certain teams, right? It's the matchup, right?
Yeah.
If I get the right matchup, I got a shot, man.
You only lost one game and y'all didn't go to the playoffs?
Well, because
different.
Different there because we were B level. Only the A
that's
level
right. You said
played
it
for a
already.
state champion. And they didn't have playoffs then. They just did rankings. So it was
like bowl
top
games.
2 teams played a bowl. River Winds represented the North. Now we actually have a playoff.
Good. Okay.
Making progress, like going from the BCS to the
That's right.
4 team, and now we got to get expansion. Yeah.
Exactly. 100%. And we're trying to mimic that a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So we could play the team from the South, right? And it's good. It's good. I mean, the South has been dominant, a little bit dominant. Then, we came in and we put it on the team from the South. The one thing the South is they've got all these skilled guys, man. They look like, they could go to a fashion show. They look so good. They got who Swag City? They are Swag City, right? That's it. Right?
Not you, Grisham.
But we gave John McDonald in the state championship game. I gave that boy 37 carries, brother. I ran it. They're scoring in 5 plays in 2 minutes. I'm scoring in 14 plays.
There you
go. 14, 15. I'm eating a clock, brother. We threw 5 touchdowns. Now we threw 1, 2, 3, 4 touchdowns in the game, right? But I pick when I throw play action, I get moved, but we grinded it. We double. We run the zone. We are running a double somewhere. And that double is going to stay on the double until we bring the double to the backer. We are going to eat a double up. I'm going to put 2 of my 280, 90-pound dudes against your 290 guy, and I'm going to eat his ass up. So, you love playing for me. If you're offensive lineman, you're going to love playing for me because we're going to grind the ball.
You gain 3-4 yards every down, you're good.
Shoot, God loves 4. He don't love 3. He loves 4.
It's all about the first step. It's all about the first step, and you win.
There's no
And
doubt
leverage.
about that.
Right, pad level, baby.
Leverage.
Pad level.
I know I love playing for you, Beam, and man, we just appreciate you so much coming on and just talking ball and just giving us your opinion on just all the stuff, all the lay of the land that's going on in college.
Is this what
right
you
now.
wanted? I apologize. I don't know.
This is
exactly what
This has been
exactly.
fantastic. I'm about to rewatch Last Chance U tonight. It's gonna be awesome.
All right. So let's put a plug in for some Ready.
I was just about to throw it to you, Coach. Tell us about Ready and your podcast and everything else you got going.
So I got a podcast going. Unfortunately, I got too many other things. So I try to do a couple episodes at a time. If you go listen to it, you'll hear CJ Anderson talk about kind of an interesting thing after what Brian Flores said. He interviewed with the Broncos and Elway was disheveled and hungover. Well, if you listen to my podcast, CJ will tell you, what do you mean? Elway used to come to practice drunk. I was surprised he didn't get picked up nationally more than that because it came out during right before the Super Bowl. But I have a podcast with John Beam, Ready, Coach John Beam podcast, and I talk about Ready, right? If you are ready, you don't have to get ready. But I got a website, Coach John Beam. I got some Ready gear. I love to get it going in Tennessee, Alabama, out there in Georgia. I love to get some guys if they're ready to play in the mud. They want to come out of the mud. They want to come get coached hard, but they want to get coached with love. Want to get a degree. And they're ballers from the South. They want to come out and learn a little bit about California. I'll teach them how to surf. I'll teach them how to scuba dive. I get a little bounce going and get some gigging in there. We'll have a good time. I know about some catfish and hush puppies, even though I cannot catch fish. But I do know how to eat it well. I love beignets. So let's do it.
Beignets.
Love me some beignets.
Where do you find these podcasts at? Are you on Spotify or all?
He's on all of them. He's on
them?
all the yeah.
I'm gonna
I
check
think the
it
biggest
out.
thing you just go to my website, right?
Yeah.
Murph,
Okay.
I don't even know that, right? I got a guy that tells me.
I know you. I know that ain't you.
So where do I find? Where's this podcast? You gonna send me the link once it comes out?
Yeah, we're on YouTube. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcast, any podcast platform that you can get a podcast
send it to my link and I'll put it, or send me on my social media and I'll put it up on my social media.
Absolutely, we'll definitely.
Hey
do
guys,
that.
I ain't gonna tell you, I had so much fun doing this.
Yeah,
we
this was
had a
good.
blast.
Yeah, this
It
was
was fun.
fantastic, Coach.
Hey, if you want me again, I'm in it to win it. So let's do it. And
When
then
do y'all
I
start
come
spring?
through-
Do y'all do spring ball? Yeah, you got spring
So
ball
we
coming
don't-
up or?
So last year, because of the pandemic, we actually got to have padded spring ball the first time in California junior college history. But now we're back to no longer having padded spring ball. It's kind of tough when you're trying to do spring ball and no one's in pads, right?
Yeah.
Because we're going so you'll love this. As offensive line, you'll love this, right? We stretch, we warm up, we go. We start pods our first day. We got two linemen and a back end pods. We have no pads on. We go pods. Then we go into individual. We come back. We go inside run, right? Then we go 7-on-7, right? Then we come back, do 11 long. We do everything that we would in a normal practice, even though we don't have any pads on.
Well,
And we're not hitting bags. I guarantee we do not have bags.
Well, I don't know about those half-line pods.
no pads on.
Can't. We don't. They won't.
You know,
let
I
us
will
on.
say that and I know we're about to wrap up, but when we were playing in college, the older we got, when I was younger, I'd be like, oh yeah, we're in shorts, and then I realized when we got into shorts in college, we were still doing freaking inside
no
drill and
question.
getting my fingers jammed, getting bruised up. I'm like, God,
100%.
we do full pads for
And you got
God's sake.
nothing. You got nothing to grab onto the D lineman with because they got tights on and they're
Because the
cheating.
defense is just trying to show
Oh,
you
they're
up, and
going
then you
full-
got to fight
yep.
back, and then you got
No
you got
question.
more fist fights with shorts practice than you did with full pads.
No
Well, yeah,
question.
because now they're slanting. You can't put your head in there. You got no helmets. So you're afraid to put your head in there, right?
And they want to
Murph-
act like they're just the bee's knees for beating you
boy.
in pass pro because you have no pads on. I'm going.
I love shorts.
This is licking
Yeah,
old wounds.
yeah.
Yeah, Jeff's over here throwing screens and just drinking mojitos
Throwing
over
the-
here in the back.
throwing the ball into the trash can.
I didn't have to worry for my shoulder pads. Yeah, we're just over there in the end zone, just throwing.
Here you
I
go.
still got
Here-
bruises from 10
I'm gonna
years ago.
I'm gonna get here's one. You'll love this, right? So high school coaching, right? All right. So you're teaching an offensive lineman how to strike with their hands, right? You gotta use your hands, right? But they want to put their head first. They want to hit with their shoulders, right? So shit, took off their shoulder pads, helmet, no shoulder pads, put them in the cage. You're gonna learn to strike with your, using your head. Get your hands in there and strike, right? Now he still doesn't want to use his hands. He's just leading with his head. Freaking that! I made him take off his helmet, get in the cage. Guess what? He kept his head back, hands were out striking. Got a Division I scholarship to Hawaii by the time he was done. But
There you go.
I learned that from one of my guys that played in the NFL because he was overextending pass pro. They made him take his helmet off, right? So he could just strike with his hands. And he played 10 years in the NFL, Pro Bowler, 2 Super Bowl rings, probably one of the at the time one of the highest paid linemen ever in the NFL. But he started out his second year. Russ Grimm made him take his helmet off in pass pro.
If I'd have done that, I probably lost my nose.
Hey,
Beam, you're the man. I love you to
Yeah.
death, and I just appreciate you.
all right, we got to
Thank you for
finish
coming
up. Here
on
we
here.
go. We got to finish up. Here we go, boys. 2 claps. Ready? Right on, boys. Thank you.
Coach,
Murph,
thank you.
anytime.
Thanks, Coach.
Take care, everybody. Bye now.
See ya.